Chicago Outfit. The Chicago Outfit, also referred to as the Outfit, the Chicago Mafia, the Chicago Mob, the Chicago Crime Family, the Southside Gang, or the Organization, is an organized crime syndicate of Italian-American origin situated in Chicago, Illinois. Its roots trace back to the south side of the city in 1910, and it operates as part of the broader Italian-American Mafia. The outfit rose to power in the 1920s under the control of Johnny Torrio and Al Capone, and the period was marked by bloody gang wars for control of the distribution of illegal alcohol during Prohibition. Since then, the outfit has been involved in a wide range of criminal activities, including loan sharking, illegal gambling, prostitution, extortion, political corruption, and murder. While the outfit never held an absolute monopoly on organized crime in Chicago, it consistently stood as the most potent, violent, and sizable criminal organization in the city and the broader Midwest. Unlike other mafia factions like the Five Families of New York City, the outfit maintained unity since its inception. At its zenith, its influence extended as far as California, Florida, and Nevada, persisting across the Midwest, southern Florida, Las Vegas, and other parts of the southwestern United States. Increased law enforcement scrutiny and attrition have contributed to its gradual decline since the late 20th century. Nevertheless, it remains a significant and active organized crime entity in the Chicago metropolitan area and the broader Midwestern region. History. Origin. In the late 19th and early 20th centuries, the initial phase of organized crime in Chicago was characterized by the segmentation of street gangs exerting influence over the South Side and North Side, along with the presence of Black Hand organizations in Little Italy. As time progressed, the outfit evolved to comprise diverse street crews managing various territories across Chicago, including Elmwood Park, Melrose Park, Chicago Heights, Rush Street, and Chinatown. Big Jim Colosimo played a pivotal role in centralizing control during the early 20th century. Born in Calabria, Italy in 1878, he immigrated to Chicago in 1895 and established himself as a figure in the criminal underworld. By 1909, with the assistance of bringing Johnny Torrio from New York to Chicago, Colosimo achieved significant success, encroaching upon the criminal activities of the Black Hand organization. Colosimo also forged deep political ties, serving as a precinct captain in the organization of First Ward Alderman Coughlin and Kenna. Later, he assumed the role of a bagman, responsible for collecting illegal profits and dispensing bribes in the vice-laden Levy district, providing him with extensive political protection. Prohibition and Al Capone. With the onset of Prohibition in 1920, Torrio advocated for the gang's involvement in bootlegging. However, Colosimo adamantly rejected this proposal. On May 11, 1920, Torrio contacted Colosimo, informing him that a shipment was imminent at his restaurant. Eagerly anticipating its arrival, Colosimo drove to the location, only to be ambushed and fatally shot instead, a contract commissioned by Johnny Torrio. Torrio's organization was made up predominantly of ethnic Italians, but had a large contingent of members from other immigrant backgrounds. Torrio's gang also differed from the other Chicago gangs by recruiting from New York's underworld, regularly welcoming that city's ambitious criminals into his organization's ranks. Alphonse Capone had left New York for Chicago in 1919, likely under orders from mob boss Frankie Yale to leave town to avoid retaliation for previous violence they had committed in New York. Capone began in Chicago as a doorman at the Four Deuces Club. By 1924, Capone's business acumen and shrewd intelligence had gained him a place as Torrio's right-hand man. Many rivals saw Capone as responsible for the proliferation of brothels in the city. With the advent of Prohibition in the United States, newly appointed outfit boss Torrio and his underboss Al Capone recognized an opportunity for the Chicago outfit to generate profits and expand their criminal enterprise through racketeering small businesses. Capone, assuming the role of a legitimate businessman, provided the outfit with a lawful means of sourcing funds, avoiding incrimination, and deflecting unnecessary attention from law enforcement. Torrio, cautious of getting entangled in gang conflicts, sought to negotiate agreements regarding territorial disputes between rival crime groups. At the close of 1924, the Torrio Capone gang boasted a membership ranging between 300 to 400 members, while the Northside gang could muster approximately 200 soldiers. Beer Wars and Al Capone. In January 1925, Capone survived an ambush that left him shaken but unharmed. Just 12 days later, on January 24th, Torrio, returning from a shopping trip with his wife Anna, was shot multiple times. Following his recovery, Torrio effectively resigned, passing control to the 26-year-old Capone, who ascended as the new boss. Under Capone's leadership, the organization expanded, encompassing illegal breweries and a transportation network extending to Canada, all backed by political and law enforcement protection. Torrio, a significant figure in modern organized crime, retired to New York and served as an advisor to the New York Mafia in the formation of the Commission. Capone, with greater influence, resorted to heightened violence to boost revenue. Establishments refusing to buy liquor from him faced bombings, leading to as many as 100 casualties during the violent years of Chicago's Beer Wars from 1925 to 1926. Rivals held Capone responsible for the proliferation of brothels in the city. Capone was widely suspected of ordering the infamous 1929 St. Valentine's Day massacre to eliminate Bugs Moran, the head of the Northside gang. During this event, 4 of Capone's henchmen, 2 posing as Chicago policemen, entered the SMC Cartage Company garage, executing 7 men, including 5 of Moran's soldiers, an auto mechanic, and a friend of the gangsters. Moran narrowly escaped the massacre by arriving late. Capone faced legal consequences, convicted on 3 counts of income tax evasion on October 17, 1931. A week later, he received an 11-year federal prison sentence, a $50,000 fine, plus $7,692 for court costs, and was held responsible for $215,000 plus interest in back taxes. Capone ultimately succumbed to heart failure resulting from apoplexy on January 25, 1947. From Nitti to Accardo. In 1931, Nitti, head of operations for the outfit, faced a conviction for tax evasion, resulting in an 18-month prison sentence. Upon his release on March 25, 1932, Nitti assumed leadership of the Capone gang. Some revisionist historians assert that Nitti served as a mere front boss, while Paul the Waiter Rica held the actual leadership position within the Chicago outfit. Over the following decade, the outfit expanded its operations into labor racketeering, gambling, and loan sharking. Geographically, this period witnessed the outfit's influence extending to Milwaukee and Madison, Wisconsin, Kansas City, and notably, Hollywood and other California cities. The outfit's control over labor unions in Hollywood provided leverage over the motion picture industry. In the early 1940s, several top outfit leaders faced imprisonment for their involvement in extorting Hollywood, controlling unions within the movie industry, and manipulating the Teamsters Central States Pension Fund. In 1943, the outfit was caught engaging in extortion within the Hollywood movie industry. When Rica wanted Nitti to take responsibility, Nitti, who had discovered his claustrophobia years earlier during an 18-month jail term for tax evasion, chose to end his own life rather than face more imprisonment. Consequently, Rica officially became the boss, both in name and in fact, with Enforcement Chief Tony Accardo as the underboss, initiating a partnership that would endure for almost 3 decades. Around this time, the outfit began recruiting members from the 42 Gang, a notoriously violent youth gang. Notable additions included Sam Momo Giancana, Sam Mad Sam De Stefano, Felix Milwaukee Phil Aldericio, and Fiore Fifi Buccieri. In 1943, Rica faced imprisonment for his involvement in the outfit's plot to control Hollywood and was sentenced to 10 years in prison, alongside several other mobsters. However, with the aid of political connections, the entire group of outfit mobsters, including Rica, was released after 3 years, largely orchestrated by outfit fixer Murray the Camel Humphreys. As a condition of his parole, Rica was prohibited from associating with other mobsters. Although Accardo nominally assumed the role of boss, power was effectively shared with Rica, who continued to operate behind the scenes as a senior consultant, an uncommon instance of shared power within organized crime. Accardo entered semi-retirement alongside Rica in 1957, driven by increased scrutiny from the IRS. Subsequently, Rica and Accardo allowed several others to serve nominally as boss, including Giancana, Aldericio, Joey Ayupa, William Willie Potatoes, Dadano, and Jackie the Lackey Cerrone. Most of these front bosses originated from the 42 gang. However, no significant business transactions occurred without Rica and Accardo's knowledge and approval, and certainly no hits were executed without their involvement. By remaining behind the scenes, Rica and Accardo managed to outlast Capone's era. Rica passed away in 1972, leaving Accardo as the sole power operating discreetly behind the scenes. 1960s to 1990s. During the 1960 presidential election, there are claims that the Mafia, specifically the Chicago Outfit, played a role in supporting candidate and President John F. Kennedy. Allegedly, the strategy involved using the influence of Mafia-controlled unions to coerce votes for Kennedy through physical threats against those who did not comply. Some reports suggest that Joseph Kennedy held a meeting with mob boss Sam Giancana before the election. It is said that the Kennedys and the Mafia reached an understanding. If John were elected president, he would ease law enforcement pressure on the mob. However, after the election, President Kennedy allegedly turned against Giancana. Some theories propose that this strained relationship contributed to the assassinations of both John and Robert Kennedy. Additionally, many believe that the outfit was involved in a collusion with the Central Intelligence Agency, CIA for short, during the overthrow of the Cuban government under Fidel Castro. In exchange for their assistance in Operation Mongoose or Operation Family Jewels to overthrow Castro, the outfit was supposedly promised access to its former casinos. However, the outfit failed in its attempt to overthrow Castro, and indictments against them increased during President John F. Kennedy's administration. The outfit reached its peak of power in the early 1960s, with figures like Accardo using the Teamsters Pension Fund, along with Meyer Lansky, Sidney Korshak, and Jimmy Hoffa, for extensive money laundering through the outfit's casinos. However, the 1970s and 1980s proved challenging for the outfit as law enforcement efforts intensified. Off-track betting reduced bookmaking profits, and illegitimate casinos faced competition from legal counterparts. Auto theft and professional sports betting did not compensate for the lost profits. The outfit maintained control over casinos in Las Vegas, skimming millions of dollars over several decades. Recent convictions of top mob figures have been related to crimes dating back to the mid-1960s. There are rumors that the $2 million skimmed from the casinos in the 1986 court case was used to establish the Old Neighborhood Italian-American Club, founded by Angelo J. "The Hook" La Pietra. Key figures like Alan Dorfman, involved in the outfit's money embezzlement operations, came under investigation by the Department of Justice. Operation Pendorf in 1982, which involved wiretapping Dorfman's personal and company phone lines, led to convictions on attempts to bribe a state senator to manipulate trucking industry rates. The failure of Operation Pendorf dealt a significant blow to the Chicago crime syndicate. Operation Gambat, or Gambling Attorney, dealt a severe blow to the Chicago outfit's extensive influence over the city's political machinery. Pat Marcy, a made man within the outfit, controlled the First Ward of Chicago, encompassing most of downtown. Marcy, along with Alderman Fred Roti and Democratic Committeeman John Darko Sr., manipulated the circuit courts from the 1950s until the late 1980s, fixing cases ranging from minor traffic offenses to murder. Robert Cooley, an attorney associated with the First Ward, represented many mobsters and their associates in cases that were rigged. As a trusted figure within the First Ward, Cooley was asked to carry out a hit on a city police officer. Facing gambling addiction and debt, he approached the U.S. Justice Department's organized crime strike force, expressing his desire to destroy Marcy and the First Ward. Cooley became a federal informant, cooperating with the FBI. Despite maintaining close ties to Marcy and other influential figures in the First Ward, he wore an electronic surveillance device and recorded conversations at the notorious First Ward table, located at Counselor's Row, across the street from Chicago City Hall. Operation Gambat resulted in the convictions of 24 corrupt judges, lawyers, and law enforcement officers. In 1992, Accardo passed away. Remarkably, he had successfully avoided the limelight and had never spent a significant amount of time in jail, with records suggesting only 1 day of incarceration dating back to 1922. The transition from Accardo to the next generation of outfit bosses in Chicago was characterized more as an administrative change than a power struggle, distinguishing it from the organized crime leadership transitions in New York City. 21st century. The Chicago outfit has experienced a gradual decline since the late 20th century, primarily due to increased law enforcement scrutiny and general attrition. The old neighborhood Italian-American club is regarded as a gathering place for old-timers as they enjoy their retirement years. Angelo J. La Pietra, also known as The Hook, founded the club, and he served as the main counsel at the time of his death in 1999. On April 25, 2005, the U.S. Department of Justice initiated Operation Family Secrets, targeting the outfit. 14 members and associates, including Joseph Lombardo, Nicholas Calabrese, Frank Calabrese Sr., and James Marcello, were indicted under the Racketeer Influenced and Corrupt Organizations Act, RICO for short. The Family Secrets trial was presided over by U.S. District Court Judge James Zagel, with federal prosecutors Mitchell A. Mars, T. Marcus Funk, and John Scully leading the case. Nicholas Calabrese, facing a life sentence, became the first made member of the Chicago outfit to cooperate with the federal government. He provided information on 14 murders he was personally involved in and had knowledge of 22 killings over the past 30 years. As of 2007, the outfit is estimated to have 28 official members, constituting its core group, along with over 100 associates. From 1996 to 2018, John DeFronzo was believed to lead the Chicago outfit. As of 2021, Salvatore Soli di De Laurentiis is believed to be leading the organization,